Imagine finally qualifying for health insurance and then having to find out you have to report 80 hours every single month just to keep it. That's how Georgia Pathways to Coverage works. And a lot of Georgians don't realize that until they're already in the process. So today I want to break down Georgia Pathways to Coverage in plain language. What it is, who qualifies, how it works, and what people really need to know before applying. Because honestly, this is one of those programs where missing one detail can affect your coverage. Proverbs 31 talks about speaking up for people who are struggling and making sure people understand their options. And honestly, sometimes the best way to help people is just making complicated information easier to understand. So, what is Georgia Pathways? So, Georgia Pathways to Coverage is a Medicaid program for adults ages 19 through 64 who don't qualify for traditional Medicaid. The program was designed for people who fall into that middle area where they may not have insurance through work but still need health care coverage. Now, one important thing to understand is that DFCS looks primarily at your monthly income when determining eligibility. So for 2026, the income limit is roughly about $1,330 per month for one person and around $2,275 per month for a family of three and around $2,750 per month for a family of four. So if your household income is around those amounts or lower, you may qualify depending on your situation. And here's the part most people don't know. This isn't traditional Medicaid. There's a monthly requirement attached to it. So let's talk about how the program actually works. So to keep coverage under Georgia Pathways, you have to complete at least 80 hours every month of qualifying activities. That can include working, going to school, job training, or volunteering. And yes, those hours have to be tracked and reported. That's the part where some people get tripped up. So, for example, let's say somebody is working part-time, taking classes, or doing community service. Those activities may count toward the 80 hours requirement. And if you stop reporting those hours consistently, you could lose coverage. So this program really depends on staying organized. And here's another detail that's really important. If you apply and get approved, your coverage can actually start the first day of the month you apply, even if your approval happens later. A lot of people don't realize that. Now, what does the program cover? Georgia Pathways covers many of the same services as traditional Medicaid. That includes doctor visits, hospital care, prescriptions, mental health services, preventive care, and wellness services. So, this isn't some tiny limited plan. It can be a real help for people who qualify. Now, let me give you the practical side of this. What helps protect your coverage? Reporting your activity hours every month, opening mail from DFACS, reporting income changes within 10 days, and keeping copies of your paperwork or appealing if you think a decision was wrong. Now, where people usually run into problems, they miss deadlines, they forget to turn in their documents, or they forget to report the hours, or they assume they no longer qualify without actually checking. And honestly, there are probably a lot more Georgians who qualify for this program than realize it, especially people working part-time between jobs, trying to get back on their feet, or going to school or caring for family members while trying to stay insured. So the biggest thing I want people to take away from this is Georgia Pathways is real coverage, but understanding the rules matters because the difference between keeping coverage and losing coverage can sometimes come down to paperwork and reporting. Now, if you like somebody explaining this stuff without sounding like a 47-page government handbook, go ahead and subscribe. I need your help to push this information out to the people who need it the most. Do you know somebody in Georgia who might actually qualify for this? If so, share this video with them. Because at the end of the day, healthcare information shouldn't feel impossible to understand. And the more people understand their options, the better decisions they can make for themselves and their families.